hook me? Please. My friends, can you hook me? Please.
Hello, and welcome back to GrandGamingGrove. Today, we are going deep on everything we know about water in GTA 6. Trailers, screenshots, patents, leaks, and frame-by-frame analysis on why water is going to be something that will blow our minds when GTA 6 releases. When GTA 6 launches, it'll have many new features and upgrades that'll blow us away and vastly improve upon many aspects from its predecessor, GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. What about the water? It may not be the standout or the first thing that comes to mind when thinking of essential features to upgrade, but make no mistake, in a setting like Vice City and the state of Leonida, which is based on Florida, water will be essential to many aspects of the game, features, and the story. In this video, we're going to be diving deep of all the possibilities of how we could see water upgraded, expanded, and new features that have already been confirmed, and some other that have been rumored, like a new surfing minigame and new weather systems like flooding and hurricanes. We'll also be taking a look at all the regions and how water is essential to each of them, and fun side activities like boating, scuba diving, and fishing. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now let's dive in. A state surrounded by ocean on three sides, carved up by swamps, and fed by rivers, and defined by water at every turn. Rockstar has responded to that setting by building what is without a doubt going to be the most ambitious water system ever attempted in an open world game, or any game for that matter. Section number 1. Why water is different this time. The setting demands it. Before we get into the technical stuff, we need to talk about why water is such a massive deal in GTA 6, specifically because the answer is geography. GTA 6 is set in Leonida, Rockstar's fictional Florida. Florida is surrounded by ocean on three sides, the Atlantic to the east, the Gulf of Mexico to the west, and the Florida Straits to the south. The Everglades cover 1.5 million acres of the state's interior. The Florida Keys are an island chain stretching 120 miles into the ocean. Water is not a backdrop in this setting. It is the setting. The map includes at least minimum 6 distinct water environments, the Atlantic-inspired open ocean off of Vice City's eastern coast, the Gulf-inspired waters off Port Gellhorn's western coast, the shadowed turquoise Leonida Keys, the Grass River swamp system, Lake Leonida in the interior, and the river systems feeding Mount Caliga in the north. Every one of these requires different water behavior. Rockstar knew going into GTA 6 that a map this water heavy, they could not phone in on the physics, so they did something extraordinary. The investment. According to Rockstar Magazine, the French gaming publication that broke the story in 2023, Rockstar assembled a team of dedicated engineers, 20 of them to be exact, specialists in linear algebra and matrix mathematics, working exclusively on water physics modeling. This is not a general graphics team that also handles water. This is a specialist unit whose only job is to make Leonida's water behave correctly. The reported investment in the water physics sits between $200 and $300 million, according to the same source. This figure has been contested by some in the community, and honestly, it is an eyebrow-raising number, but it is consistent with the total development budget that analysts place at over $1 billion for the full game. Next up, the patents. How the water actually works. Let's start with the technology, because this is where GTA 6's water goes from impressive to genuinely revolutionary. Take-Two Interactive has filed and has been granted a series of patents that directly describes the fluid simulation system powering GTA 6. Patent number US 106-851-52B2 introduces hyper-realistic fluid simulation on 3D surfaces. It covers dynamic simulations of liquids and dirt in real time. This is a patent that covers everything from ocean waves to sweat on Jason's face during a fight. The system is described as a sparse fluid simulation, meaning it does not attempt to simulate every water molecule in the ocean simultaneously. Instead, it applies full physical simulation to the areas and interactions the players can observe. Think of it this way, Rockstar is not simulating the entire Pacific Ocean. They're simulating what you can see, touch, and interact with at a level of physical accuracy that was previously impossible in real-time gaming. And crucially, that simulation applies at every scale, from ocean waves down to the droplets coming out of a garden hose. Section 3. Dynamic tides, flooding, and the flood gauge discovery. Let's talk about one of the most remarkable things the community has found in the trailers. I want you to actually watch this on your screen, because it is easy to miss. In a Grass River's wetland shot, there is an old wooden pier at sunset. Look at the vertical pylons holding up the dock. There is a dark, saturated band visible on the wood, well above the current waterline. At first glance, it looks like a texture variation or a lighting artifact. It is neither. It is a high water mark. The wood has been stained at that height by a previous, higher water level. This detail is confirmed as a dynamic wetness shader, a system that tracks past water levels and leaves behind visual evidence of where water has been. The game is not just simulating where the water is right now. It is rendering where the water was. This means that Leonida world remembers its own history. The implication of a dynamic wetness shader on pier pylons is enormous. Tides are real in GTA 6. As water levels change due to tides, storms, or flooding, the shoreline moves, and when it recedes, it leaves behind these high water marks. The environment is not just reactive, it is historically accurate to itself. The flood gauges. Proof of functional flooding. Now here's a detail that made the community go absolutely berserk when somebody first spotted it. And again, this is a background detail. A prop, something you would drive past without a second glance. They are flood gauges. Exact replicas of the real-world instruments used in Florida to measure water depth during storms and flooding events. They are calibrated. They have measurement markings, and Rockstar modeled them accurately. The presence of flood gauges as functional, accurately modeled props in the game world is one of the strongest pieces of evidence we have for dynamic flooding in GTA 6. You don't model a flood gauge with calibration markings as a decorative background prop. You model it because the water level it measures is going to change. The gauge exists to tell you how high the water has risen. The gameplay implication is direct. Certain roads and grass rivers and low-lying areas of Vice City will flood after heavy rainfall or storm events, forcing players to choose vehicles accordingly. A sports car that is perfect for Vice City's highways might stall or float in a flooded swamp road. An airboat or a truck with high clearance becomes suddenly essential. Vehicle choice will be tied to weather. Dynamic tides, a first for open world gaming. The same source that reported on the 20 engineer water team, Rockstar Magazine, specifically claimed that GTA 6 will feature dynamic, high and low tides. For the first time in an open world game, the shoreline will physically move. This is not a cosmetic texture shift, the water level will change over time and the physical world will respond. Think about what this actually means for the Leonida Keys. At low tide, shallow reefs areas emerge, sandbars appear, boats that were floating freely at anchor are now resting on the seabed. The turquoise shallows around Key Lento look different at 6 a.m. at low tide than they do at 6 p.m. when the tide is coming in. This is environmental storytelling through water. The official screenshots of the Leonida Keys show beach areas with wet sand that is distinctly darker than dry sand further up the shoreline. A wet-dry transition zone consistent with the tidal system. Rockstar has confirmed that sand in GTA 6 uses a saturation map to show varying degrees of dampness. Wet sand is not instantly dry after the water recedes. The game tracks the moisture of the sand's surface over time. How water looks, color depth, and light. Why GTA 6's water changes color and why that is genius. One of the things that confused some people comparing the two trailers was that the water looked different. Ocean Beach in Trailer 1 shows dark, choppy blue water. The Leonida Keys in Trailer 2 shows lighter, milky blue, shallow water. If some people thought it was a downgrade, it is actually the opposite. GTA 6's water reacts to terrain and sediment beneath it. In shallow reef areas, like the Leonida Keys, the water is lighter and more turquoise because sunlight is penetrating to the sandy limestone seabed and reflecting back up. In deep ocean water off Vice Beach, where sunlight cannot reach the bottom, the water absorbs more light and appears dark blue. This is physically accurate. This is how real ocean water works. The Leonida Keys watercolor in Trailer 2 is not a stylistic choice. It is the fluid simulation system calculating the depth beneath the water surface, the composition of the seabed, and the angle and intensity of the sunlight, and rendering the correct visual result for those specific inputs. That is extraordinary technology. Swamp water in the Grass Rivers region is rendered with a distinctly different visual profile. Murky green-brown, has low visibility with surface debris. The Grass River wetlands are fed by different sources than the open ocean, have different sediment composition, and significantly different light penetration. GTA 6's water systems know the difference between oceans, key reefs, and swamps, and renders each one accordingly. Section 5. Boats, wakes, and water interaction with vehicles. How do boats interact with the water in GTA 6? GTA 6 has a Florida-sized ocean and Florida Keys island chain. Boats are not optional transport. They are a core part of how you move throughout the world, and the water system has been built to make every boat feel completely different depending on the water it is in. High-speed vehicles, jet skis, speedboats, and airboats generate wakes that physically interact with the water around them. Those wakes do not just look good, they affect nearby floating objects. They push small boats, they create waves that lap against dock pilings. The sparse fluid simulation means every vehicle's interaction with water is physically calculated, not pre-animated. Trailer 2 confirms Jason and Lucia riding a two-person Sea Shark jet ski together, and the wake physics visible around it are clearly next generation. The bow spray, the rooster tail, and the way the water surface deforms under the hull All of it looks physically simulated rather than texture animated. There's a boat workshop scene in trailer 2 that shows boats being serviced with visible maintenance activity, implying that watercraft vehicle customization is available alongside road vehicle modification. You can upgrade your boat's engine, hull, and equipment, directly affecting its performance characteristics on the water. The opening shot of trailer 1 is a Vapid Bobcat XL towing a recreational bow rider motorboat on a trailer behind it. The single shot confirms boats can be trailered and transported by road. You can drive your truck to the Keys boat ramp, back it in, launch your boat, and then go fishing or diving. The integration between land and water transport is seamless. Next up, we're going to look at airboats. Airboats, or fan boats, are a completely new vehicle class for the GTA franchise and exist specifically because of the Grass River swamp terrain. They sit on the water's surface and are propelled by a large rear-mounted fan rather than an underwater propeller, meaning they can travel over water too shallow for conventional boats, over floating vegetation, and across mudflats. The existence of airboats in GTA 6 tells you something important about how Grass River's water system is designed. Airboats only make sense in an environment where the water depth varies significantly, where shallow sections alternate with deeper channels, and where the water surface has physical debris and vegetation that a propeller-driven boat cannot navigate. Rockstar's designs the airboat because the water in Grass Rivers has demanded it. Community vehicle analysts have identified multiple airboat variants in the trailer footage so far, suggesting different sizes and performance profiles for different Grass Rivers navigation challenges. A light, fast airboat for open swamp sections, a heavier, more stable version for carrying cargo or passengers through narrower channels. Section 6. Underwater. Diving, coral reefs, wildlife, secrets. Scuba diving is officially confirmed in GTA 6 through an official Rockstar screenshot showing 2 divers fully equipped in masks, oxygen tanks, flippers, and exploring underwater environments in the Leonida Keys. This is not speculation, it is a confirmed activity. Rockstar's official description of the Leonida Keys specifically mentions some of the most beautiful and dangerous waters in all of America, language that directly implies both exploration rewards and hazards beneath the surface. The underwater environment visible in the scuba screenshot shows coral reefs with multiple distinct coral species, a sea turtle swimming mid-frame, small fish in clusters, and critical light shafts penetrating the water from the surface above, creating the characteristic underwater light beam effect that only occurs in clear, shallow tropical water. This is not a generic blue underwater fog, this is physically simulated tropical reef lighting. Marine wildlife in GTA 6 is confirmed across multiple sources. The confirmed roster includes sea turtles, dolphins, sharks, eels, coral reef fish species, flamingos in shallow water, and various other marine life in the Keys and coastal waters. And this wildlife is not cosmetic. Based on the same NPCAI patents that govern land-based animal behavior, marine creatures in GTA 6 will have individual behavior profiles. They school, they flee from threat, they hunt. Sharks in GTA 6 will not behave like the sharks in GTA 5. They were essentially random attack triggers. They'll behave like actual sharks. Grass River's swamp waters have their own predatory hierarchy, with alligators as the dominant threat at the water surface. The flamingo water interaction sequence in Trailer 1 is very impressive. When the flamingos lift off from the shallow swamp waters, the water does not ripple in simple expanding circles. Localized physics fields create thin upward strands of water being pulled up by wing movement before gravity pulls them back. This is fluid dynamics responding to an irregular physical interaction, not a programmed ripple effect. Underwater treasure and exploring. Underwater areas in GTA 6 are confirmed to contain treasure, an explicit statement in Rockstar's description of the Leonida Keys underwater environment. There is a reward system built in to the underwater world. Community speculation based on Keys' real-world history, which includes Spanish treasure fleet wrecks from the 16th and 17th centuries, suggests that shipwreck exploration will be a significant part of the underwater content. The State of Leonida mapping project has already identified potential shipwreck markers around the Keys' southern islands. The underwater caves and coral formations visible in the trailers and screenshot material suggest a complex three-dimensional underwater navigation environment rather than a flat seabed. Players will need to navigate coral structures, enter underwater cave systems, and manage depth and oxygen in a way that creates genuine challenges. Section 7. Rainstorms and hurricanes. Leonida weather, the most dynamic climate of any game. Florida has the most distinct weather of any major North American state. More lightning strikes than anywhere else in North America, afternoon thunderstorms almost daily in the summer, hurricane season runs from June to November, and the flat geography means that when it rains, it floods. Rockstar has built a weather system that reflects all of this. GTA 6 has confirmed dynamic weather systems. The trailers have shown multiple distinct weather states: brilliant Florida sunshine, afternoon thunderstorms with heavy rain and lighting, misty swamp mornings, and what appears to be storm conditions with significantly elevated ocean surface activity. The storm sequence in Trailer 1 shows palm trees alongside a Florida-style highway that are partially submerged. The water lines on the trunks are significantly above the current water level, indicating this is storm-driven flooding, not a permanent water body. Florida's elevated highways sit above the surrounding land, and heavy rain immediately fills the lower areas around them. GTA 6 is replicating this exactly. Hurricanes, the big one. Rockstar Magazine's 2023 report explicitly mentioned hurricanes as a weather event in GTA 6. Dynamic hurricane systems, not pre-scripted story events, but genuine dynamic weather phenomena, would represent the most ambitious weather system ever implemented in an open-world game. Think about what a dynamic hurricane means for every water system we have talked about. Ocean waves that normally sit a meter or two suddenly swell to 5, 6, 7 meters. Storm surge pushes water inland into low-lying Vice City districts. The Keys bridge highways, those long open spans over the ocean, become extremely dangerous in high winds and wave conditions. The grass rivers flood, boats at the dock are torn loose, the entire coastal geography of Leonida temporarily transforms. The presence of flood gauges in trailer footage, those calibrated measurement poles we discussed earlier, make far more sense in the context of a hurricane system. They're exactly the kind of infrastructure you would need to monitor water levels during a major storm event. Rockstar did not model them accidentally. The weather simulation patents in Take-Two's portfolio describe pedestrian behavior changing in response to weather. People running for cover in the rain, sheltering under structures, avoiding water-covered paths. In a hurricane scenario, this extends to NPCs evacuating specific zones, emergency services responding, and the criminal world operating differently in extreme weather. A major heist during a hurricane is a completely different proposition than one in sunshine. Section 8. Water activities. Fishing, surfing, kayaking. Fishing is confirmed in GTA 6. Jason and Cal Hampton are visible fishing together in official screenshots. A rod and reel system is shown. This is not a throwaway activity. The expected fishing system goes significantly beyond a Red Dead Redemption 2's already impressive fishing mechanics. The Leonida Keys setting supports pier fishing, offshore reef fishing, deep sea blue water fishing for marlin and sailfish in the Gulf Stream currents, crabbing, and spear fishing. Each method requires different equipment, targets different species, and occurs in different locations. A marina economy system is widely anticipated: docking your boat, selling your catch, purchasing tackle, and potentially hiring charter captains for specific fishing expeditions. The water and economy around it are interconnected. Next is the most exciting possibility for a side activity: surfing. Surfing is the most discussed potential water activity in GTA 6 and one most tied to advanced wave physics. The Rockstar Magazine report specifically mentions surfing as a planned activity. GTA 6 is the first game in the series to have a wave physics system capable of supporting it, as waves in GTA 6 have genuine height, shape, and behavior. Surfing in GTA 6 would not be like the shallow wave minigame you find in other open world games. If the sparse fluid system is generating physically accurate wave behavior, and the evidence strongly suggests it is, then surfing becomes a skill-based interaction with a genuinely dynamic wave environment. The wave that forms at Ocean Beach at 7 a.m. will be different than the one at 4 p.m. after an offshore stream has built swell. Different beaches would have different wave quality. The concept of riding a boat or jet ski at speed and jumping off to surf a wake has also been discussed in community analysis. In a game with this level of water physics, improvised surfing opportunities, wake surfing, wave catching near the Keys reef banks could be emergent rather than scripted. Kayaking has also been confirmed through official Rockstar screenshots showing characters paddling kayaks upstream on the Greed Hugh Rivers of Mount Caliga National Park. The kayak has also been confirmed through the newest Ultimate Edition screenshots, as it is an unlockable item that you can get in an early game. A flood gauge is also visible nearby in the exact same screenshot. Kayaking represents the quietest end of GTA 6's water activity spectrum, a slow, immersive way to explore rivers and wetlands, observing wildlife and navigate areas that are inaccessible to motorized vehicles. It is GTA 6's version of Red Dead Redemption 2's Canoe, a vehicle that exists not for speed, but for atmosphere. And last, we have our water vehicles. The confirmed water vehicle roster so far includes speedboats, yachts, dive boats, dinghies, jet skis, airboats, kayaks, and towable watercraft that can be transported on road trailers behind trucks and SUVs. A boat being towed on a trailer at the 35-second mark of trailer 2 is one of the most practically significant water vehicle conformations. You can move your boat between different bodies of water by land, drive to a lake, launch your boat, fish all day, load it back onto the trailer, drive to the coast, and do it all over again. Section 9. Water represented in every region. How each area uses it differently. First area is Vice City, oceans, bays, and canals. Vice City is built on water. The city has an Atlantic-facing beach on one side, a bay separating the mainland from Vice Beach on the other, causeway islands in the middle, and a port district with industrial waterways. The Vice City Bay at night, reflecting the neon skyline in real time, ray-traced water, is going to be one of the most iconic visual moments in gaming history. Trailer footage already shows the city lights shimmering on the dark water, in motion with dynamic weather, with the full fluid system running. Grass Rivers, the swamp system. Grass Rivers represents the most complex water environment in Leonida. Interconnected swamp channels, varying depth from inches to meters, variable vegetation density, alligator habitats, flooding from rainfall, and the airboat as the primary navigation tool. The sparse fluid simulation has been the most extensively discussed in the context of Grass Rivers, because it is here that the physics complexity is the highest. Leonida Keys, tropical reef water. The Keys offer the clearest, most visually spectacle water in the game. Turquoise shallow reef water over limestone and sand, transitioning to a deep blue open ocean beyond the reef line. Underwater exploring, fishing, diving, and marine wildlife all have their home here. The tidal system is the most visually dramatic in the Keys, where the shoreline movement on low-lying sandy islands is most pronounced. Port Gellhorn, industrial waterfront. Port Gellhorn's industrial waterfront uses water differently from every other region. Shipping channels, dock facilities, and working water that is functional rather than beautiful. The fluid simulation governs how ships and cargo barges sit in the water, how their wakes interact with dock pilings, and how storm conditions affect the port operations. Lake Leonida and the rivers. Lake Leonida, the large inland body in the map's center, is expected to function as a freshwater fishing zone, a boat transit route between regions, and a recreational area distinct from the ocean and swamp environments. River systems feeding into Mount Caligas National Park create the kayaking and whitewater rafting opportunities at the map's northern edge. I believe the upgrades to everything surrounding water in GTA 6 are going to blow people's minds when the game releases. It truly surrounds and encompasses so many elements within the game, and the setting and the opportunity for Rockstar to implement so many new features at a level of depth and detail never seen before. Rockstar has built a living, breathing, historically aware, fluid world, and we get to play it on November 19th. Truly can't wait. If you made it this far, I commend you. It has been a lot of information. Thank you so much for checking us out at GrandGamingGrove. As per usual, let us know down in the comments, what is the water feature you are most excited about? The tides, the hurricanes, the storms, the underwater exploring, the flooding mechanics, or just the fact that the beer bottles have bubble physics? I genuinely want to know. For me, I think it's the underwater environment and exploring and seeing all the animals and what they've done underneath the surface is going to be truly magical. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving us a thumbs up. Your support is greatly appreciated. Here at GrandGamingGrove, we will be continuing our deep dive series as we spotlight each character and what we know so far about them. Myself personally, I love all the regions they have announced with such unique and different animals, biomes, and environments, and I'm really looking forward to exploring all the info we have so far on each region in deep dive videos, also coming very soon. I appreciate you all, and thanks for being here.